Here we are at CES 2021 All Online Digital Edition. We're speaking with Alex here at bHaptics. And he has a very interesting device here. Actually, you got a number of models here, but you have the TactSuit, which is a fully immersive suit that players can wear for video games. And it isn't just video games. That looks amazing. And it works for
Dude,
consoles, PC, all sorts of things, movies and more, but we'll let you cover some of that. But what are we looking at here?
this right here is the TactSuit X40. We're actually very proud to say that this is an honoree for the CES Innovation Award this year. So very, very excited, very, very proud to share that information right now. But this is the TactSuit X40, and just like you said, it is designed to be used primarily in games. Of course, for us in the virtual reality community is the primary use, but it's totally compatible with all kinds of gaming, PC gaming, console gaming. You could, if you're a DJ, you could like listen to music and feel all of your music as you're making your beats. And if you're into immersive theater, you could wear it and set up an audio profile so that way it like reacts to like the deep basses and stuff. And it really does take things to the next level.
I can even see that being used for music too, but just the way you describe that, it reminds me there's a family member that I have in my family that is a big guitar player. And he always complains that because his wife always prevents him from being able to break out his amps, it's just not the same because he wants to be able to feel it in his chest. It's not the same
Yeah.
without that. So maybe I'll recommend that for him.
You know, it has a place for just about anyone who is like immersed in their media. You know, if
Yeah.
there's a way that you can, if you're like trying to take that audio to the next level, there is definitely a place for you in the bHaptics family.
But absolutely, more than anything, VR gaming. I mean, it
Yes.
definitely looks like the first generation of something like from, I don't know, certain stories like this.
You know, it really does, and that's like the greatest honor ever, right? Like, who doesn't want to be associated with some of the most popular stories about virtual reality? You know, it honestly is, it's incredible. You know, people, when they think about haptics, I don't think they often give it the credit that it deserves. You know, if you're into virtual reality and you've ever played a game like Beat Saber, if you're playing and the haptics were to stop working in one of your controllers, you would notice so quickly. That would be like it would feel dead. Like you'd be like, oh my gosh, what's happening? You know, like the connection to the world is gone. And at this point, haptics and controllers are, I mean, it's standard, right? Like if it's an experience worth having, typically it has haptic responses, at least in the console gaming world. And we're looking to bridge the gap to the rest of the body. You know, when you put this vest on, it reacts very similarly to the way that haptics and controllers do, right? Like you're holding it in your hand and you feel the vibrations as you interact with things. It's similar here, but in the X40, there are 40 tactile motors on the inside of this bad boy, which I'll show off to you real quick. Like here on the inside of this sleeve, you can see some of these in here. And these are all completely programmable and adjustable. So when you're in virtual reality and you're having an experience in VR, and you find a way, which bHaptics has, to connect that haptic response perfectly in time with what the user is hearing and what they're wearing, it becomes an integral part of the experience. You know, I haven't always had bHaptics at my house, but I've always been a gamer. And now that I've used bHaptics with my VR gaming especially, it's you feel like something's missing when you go back in. You really do.
So that's the difference between the X16 and the X40 is the number of sensors that are in the vest?
Primarily, yes. I also
Okay.
have the X16 right here. So you can see a little bit of the size difference, right? Like I was holding it up, but ultimately, you know, it's cut a little bit shorter, right? It's not quite as long, but it still fits, you know, fits me just fine. And we pride ourselves on making these vests fit all sizes. So the X40 and the X16 both, for example, feature like these shoulder clips, which when you undo them, it helps the vest drop back down lower and makes it a little bit better for all sizes. But on the inside here, I'll show you. You can see the motors on the inside of this one now. So 16 total motors on the X16 across the front and the back, and then 40 total motors on the X40.
Now, are these motors dependent upon mostly the audio in the games, or are these going to have like interactive profiles that can adjust directly with the content coming from the game itself?
That is both. They are primarily, like the best way to experience bHaptics is with a fully integrated game. As far as integration is concerned, it's actually very easy. Usually just takes a line or two of code for a base implementation, and our bHaptics developers have made an SDK and have like prepackaged a bunch of patterns. And for example, like if you're getting shot, it might have a prepackaged pattern for that, or a healing effect that like flows up the front and down the back. It'd be like a standard healing effect. So you could take that healing effect and plug it into your code when player receives healing. So when they get healed, the vest comes on, and right in that perfect moment, it triggers. So in VR, you're so immersed. You're 360 immersed. I'm shooting off this way. If I have incoming fire coming from my 6, without a haptic response, what do you get? Like a red arrow indicator or something? And I might be getting blasted with a red arrow for 5 seconds before I realize what the hell is happening. But with haptics, I feel that, and I'm flipping around like right away. So like I said, in VR, it really has, for me, become an integral part of the experience. And in any games that I love to enjoy, I'm trying to use my bHaptics device with it for sure.
Well, it would definitely be a lot easier for the brain to be able to register that kind of input than just because you have so many things going on already as it is in front of your face, like you said, with the arrow and everything else. It's hard for your eyes to really pass this information to the brain fast enough and translate every little thing it's looking at or your eyes are looking at. So I can definitely see that because your brain responds to touch faster than almost anything. So.
Absolutely. And not to mention, it's just way cooler. Like I have more fun when I'm more immersed. And, the library of integrated games is growing, especially right now. Like the X40 and the X16 came out right before the new year. It was a really big release for us. And a lot of people are getting into consumer haptics now. A lot of VR owners and even people who aren't into VR are finding ways to use it. So there's a big push right now and a lot of interest. So we're seeing a big push right now as far as our native compatibility is concerned. We also have modders in our community that find ways to mod their favorite games and implement the bHaptics, which honestly are as good, if not sometimes better, than our native implementations because there's so much passion behind it. A modder loves that game. They want it to work with their stuff, so they do. We work with them to make that happen. And our most recent one for Population 1 is incredible. Like you can feel the wind as you're flying. You can feel incoming fire from all directions, explosions from grenades, your arms when you're climbing, a banana going down when you eat it. Like all of the effects are there, and it's amazing. For the games that are not natively compatible or don't have mods yet, the X40 and the X16 have an audio-to-haptic feedback functionality, which on the back of the vest you'll see here, there's this little port right here with an auxiliary input. And you can run a Y splitter from the vest to your headset and headphones and customize individual frequencies of the audio that's coming in. So I could like cut out all high frequencies and make it to where the vest only responds to the low frequencies that I've selected. So that way, if I'm playing a game like Population 1, for example, my vest isn't reacting to like my teammates' chatter and stuff like that, and it takes a little bit of tweaking, right? And it's not quite as like magical as that fully implemented and embedded experience, but it still enhances the experience to the point where it's, in my opinion, and definitely the opinion of others, better with than without.
So I'm going to guess that in terms of compatibility and how well it works on these levels between actually being able to integrate full integration and just response to music, I'm going to guess that PC is the best way to go so far.
So far, there are way more options on PC than you're going to find anywhere else. We have a handful of natively integrated Quest titles right now, including Thrill to Fight, Sorrento Unchained, just a couple off the top of my head that are really good. Onward is another one, which is a really popular title, which is great to have that directional input. But like I said, with the Quest 2 now, the popularity of the Quest 2 and the popularity of bHaptics as they've entered the consumer market, we're going to see a big push this year with native compatibility on the Quest 2. So I'm excited for that.
I definitely see the use in so many other areas like movies and whatnot as well, because like I'm a big movie nut and I have a theater in my house. And the chairs in my theater, I have custom built the tactile transducers that are installed in all the seats. So that way, when something explodes, you feel it. It feels like the whole room's coming down around you. And this is exactly the kind of person, that would love something like that, because that's what's going through my head here is I'm like, oh my gosh, some of my favorite movies. I'd love to play Call of Duty wearing something like that.
Especially when for like flat gaming PC, I feel like this is like a really untapped potential for this kind of product, because when you're playing a PC game, you have no controller in your hands. There are literally zero haptics. So somebody who's playing a game like League of Legends or something, for example, they could have it to where when their character takes damage, they actually get a haptic response on their vest, which would be amazing. That would be a level of immersion that a flat screen PC gamer has not had in forever. Where are the haptics for flat screen PC gamers?
Yeah, exactly. Now, do you have any support for, we'll just throw a random, like for some reason, the first game that's coming to the top of my head is Skyrim, because they brought that into the VR realm with the PS4, and I think they did the same thing on Steam, I believe, didn't they?
They did.
Okay.
And for the record, folks, if you've never done it, do it. Skyrim in VR, so amazing. Like I was lucky enough to not ever play Skyrim, believe it or not, until I tried it in virtual reality. And it was mind-blowing. It is a huge, amazing world. It's a true AAA experience. And luckily, if you're playing on PC, there actually is a bHaptics mod made by one of our community members that supports all 5 pieces of the bHaptics TactSuit, including the hand pieces, the arms, the feet, and it is totally awesome. Skyrim is definitely one of the best experiences that you can have using bHaptics.
No, I'm feeling pretty jealous now because I own the game myself, but I have it on the Xbox, I believe it is. So there's no real experiencing the same thing. Unless I was able to move the game saves over to PC or something like that, then I'd rebuy the whole game just to be able to experience that, especially if I had a vest like that.
It's amazing. It really is. And also, one of the things that's cool is like, I can't imagine that, your haptic movie theater came at a low price point. That sounds like something that would be very, very expensive and, for the true enthusiast. But the thing with the new release of our products is that the X16 is coming in at the price point at $299, which is really, really approachable for a lot of people. And then the X40 is at $499. So 16 motors for $299, 40 motors for $499, which is definitely within the realm of possibility for a lot of gamers and VR enthusiasts. So we're really excited about that as well.
That was going to be my next question too, because we already know availability. You said that the start of the year was the launch, so the price point was the next big highlight there. And my brain's telling me it's probably going to fall in maybe post just slightly past $1,000 or something. And a lot of viewers are going to cringe at that, but at that price range, that sounds doable. That definitely sounds doable.
Especially the X16. And I'll be honest, like I prefer the X40. I like it to be a little bit bigger, right? Like it looks a little more badass. Like I feel like a little more of the superhero in it. But the X16, I put it on to make a video the other day, and I forgot which vest I was wearing. If I'm being completely honest, like it still provides that immersive experience. And, if I had to say one other thing I liked about the X16, I would say that it's a little bit lighter. And if I was using it for competitive purposes, it would maybe even be a preference because I might be able to be just that much quicker. I might be able to shave a little hair off of my reaction time if I was wearing a vest that was a little bit lighter. But I use both of them, and I forget what's happening. I just get immersed in what I'm doing. It's amazing.
So it's available right now. Where can our viewers actually find one of these if they want to jump on it, which they probably, I'm assuming, will want to do. So where would they be able to find the vest?
They do want to. If you're VR, especially if you're into VR, we'll talk next year about like our flat screen and like PC gaming compatibility, because that's something we're going to be exploring in 2021. But right now, if you're a VR enthusiast and it won't break the bank to do it, this is definitely something that you want. I promise you, it is amazing. And right now, they are available on the bHaptics website, the official bHaptics website, www.bhaptics.com/shop is where you can find it. And we are actually on back order into February. So the sooner you can get an order in, the sooner you'll be able to get your hands on it. Right now, our shipping dates are in February. We don't have shipping dates past that point. So the sooner that you can get one in, the sooner that you can ensure that you'll get it next month.
I might have to add my name to the list for one of those expeditions.
And if you do, join our Discord channel, because we have an amazing community there. Everybody's super helpful with recommendations or technical support and stuff like that. And I really want to get a lot of community events going. I think it would be amazing to have a bunch of haptic enthusiasts all playing games with haptic support together, and that's that PO future that we're talking about.
That would be perfect. Well, go if you're watching this video and this appeals to you, which it likely will. If you're watching this video, then definitely go check out their website. Go put your name on the list before it's too late. Go check out their Discord channel. Alex, thank you so much.
James, such a pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Good luck this year. Have fun at CES.
If you want to stay on top of all the latest and greatest, or at least the gadgets we cover, remember to subscribe right here. Subscription button. Click it. You're going to want to. There's lots of videos, interviews, previews, all sorts of stuff. Button. Click it.